Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, the Executive Governors of various states here present, Honorable Minister, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, members of the National and State Assemblies here present, the Deputy Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, Managing Directors of various financial institutions in the country, particularly the MDs and Chief Executive Officers of First Bank, the UBA, Access Bank, and Sterling Bank, captains of other industries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. It gives me great pleasure to appreciate and welcome you all to this auspicious occasion of the launch of the Central Bank of Nigeria's Anchor Borrower Program and flag off of the 2015-2016 rice and wheat dry season farming. Let me begin this address by acknowledging my deep humility and profound appreciation at Mr. President's non-hesitant acceptance to honor our invitation despite his very, very busy schedules. It is no doubt an indication of Mr. President's recognition of agriculture as a key driver of food security, industrialization, employment generation, and economic growth in Nigeria. It also underscores the federal government's resolve and commitment towards diversifying our economy, especially in the face of the global economic challenges, particularly depressed oil prices. Today marks the watershed of a series of meetings and brainstorming sessions held between the Central Bank of Nigeria, the governors of key rice and wheat producing states, particularly the executive governor of Kebbi State, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar Bagudu, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, rice millers, agricultural input suppliers, financial institutions, and other stakeholders in the rice and wheat industry. Soon after I assumed office as the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, I outlined the bank's medium-term strategic vision and objectives, which were derived from my ardent belief that the Central Bank of Nigeria cannot sit idly by and concentrate only on price, monetary, and fiscal system stability, especially in the face of rising unemployment and entrenched poverty. I indicated that the central bank must act as financial catalyst to the economy by targeting specific sectors that can create jobs on a mass scale, reduce poverty broadly, boost inclusive economic growth, and conserve scarce foreign reserves. There is no gainsaying the fact that agriculture fits this description squarely, and this is why we have been brainstorming on how best to significantly reduce the country's huge food bill of over 1 trillion naira annually. Accordingly, some key commodity value chains were identified, which include rice, wheat, oil palm, sugar, cotton, tomatoes, and fish. Our collaborative efforts with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development on agriculture value chain financing have yielded positive results, especially with the growth enhancement scheme, which has been able to provide agricultural inputs at highly subsidized rates to over 14 million smallholder farmers. The Anchor Borrower Program being launched by Mr. President today will undoubtedly complement the GES scheme and advance the status of many subsistence GES smallholder farmers to commercial or large contract growers, with attendant increase in agricultural productivity and farm income. Your Excellency, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria's food import bill is both exceptionally and unsustainably high. The top 4 import commodities, which includes rice and wheat, consume over 1 trillion naira in foreign exchange annually. Furthermore, relying heavily on food importation fuels domestic inflation, depletes our foreign reserves, displaces local production, and creates unemployment in the country. Indeed, import dependency, especially on commodities of comparative advantage, is not acceptable and sustainable fiscally and economically. It is on this premise that we decided to include rice in the foreign exchange exclusion list, with the overarching objective of salvaging the agriculture sector, encouraging farmers to go back to their farms, and increasing the low capacity utilization of our mills. This is against the backdrop that though huge investments into the industry was made, with the setting up of almost 30 integrated rice mills, the industry continues to suffer as a result of low-yield rice varieties, poor farm practices, and lack of good quality farm inputs. Other challenges facing the industry include non-utilization of available cultivable land, manual system of production, and inadequate funding for the establishment and development of nucleus farms and small farmers outgrower schemes. To ameliorate these challenges, Your Excellency, and in line with the CBN's developmental initiative, the bank introduced the Anchor Borrowers Program. The Anchor Borrowers Program is designed to create economic linkages between farmers and processors, not only to ensure increased agricultural output of rice and wheat, but also close the gap between production and consumption by ramping up capacity utilization in our integrated mills. Under this program, the CBN is setting aside the sum of 40 billion naira out of the 220 billion micro, small, and medium enterprise development fund to be availed to farmers at single-digit interest rate of maximum 9% per annum. Our smallholder farmers shall, under the scheme, be entitled to loans ranging from 150,000 naira to 250,000 naira to assist them in procuring necessary agricultural inputs such as seedlings, fertilizers, pesticides, and other important inputs to help boost agricultural output and productivity. The Anchor program is expected to link over 200,000 rice and wheat farmers with reputable millers for offtake of every grain of paddy produced. The milling companies have adequate capacity to meet Nigeria's rice requirements, backed by installed state-of-the-art processing equipment, and indeed, after this program, the President has given approval that the Minister of Agriculture should represent him at the commissioning of the Labana rice mill. Ultimately, The quantum of funds to be channeled and the number of farmers to benefit from this program will increase as we extend the program to other commodities. Your Excellency, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the broad implementation plan of the program involves a three-pronged approach, including anchor outgrower support, value chain training for stakeholders, and risk mitigation. This approach was adopted to ensure that major stakeholders in the industry work closely with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the NIRSAL, insurance companies to provide insurance cover against losses, unexpected losses if they occur, the CBN and other financial institutions to create the needed linkages and transparent ambience required to sustainably grow the identified commodities. We have also put in place a project management team comprising key value chain actors to closely monitor the program and ensure the achievement of expected outcomes over the next 5 years. These outcomes in the next 5 years shall include an increase in the ratio of agricultural lending from 3.72% of total bank lending in 2014 to 7%, an increase in capacity utilization of rice mills from the current level of less than 50% to over 80%. Empower at least 1 million farmers in each of the selected produce under the program. Create at least 2 million direct and indirect jobs in the processing segment of the above value chains, and reduce Nigeria's import bill on the identified commodities by at least 30% annually over the specified period. The choice of Kebbi State for the launch of this program is informed by the fact that Kebbi is one of the highest rice producing states in Nigeria. In addition, dry season rice and wheat farming starts as early as November every year, coupled with the fact that farmers in the state recently suffered widespread flooding on their farms, which undermined their output and incomes. Therefore, launching the program in Kebbi is both timely and appropriate, and I firmly believe that with good implementation and Mr. President's continued support, the Anchor Brewers program will be a decisive model that will transform Nigeria from one of the world's highest importers of rice into a net exporter of this commodity in the short to medium term. I wish to once again seize this opportunity to especially thank Mr. President, the state governors and ministers, and other stakeholders here represented for taking time out to grace this important event. Indeed, we will be coordinating with the executive governors of other rice producing states to have similar launches of this program after today's national launch by Mr. President. I thank you all for your attention, and on this note, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with all respect, I invite Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to launch the Anchor Brewers program, as well as the 2015-2016 dry season farming in Nigeria. Your Excellency, sir.
A yanzu an gayyaci mai girma shugaban ƙasa domin ya ƙaddamar da